Hi folks, and welcome to today's video, lumbar disc herniation, why McKenzie extensions may not be right for you. Now, before we get into today's video, if you're out there suffering with low back pain issues such as sciatica nerve pain, herniated discs, bulging discs, lumbar stenosis, lumbar arthritis, then hit that subscribe button. I make lots of great content to get you folks back on the road to pain-free recovery. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Hi folks, so welcome to today's video. I want to talk about McKenzie extensions and why they may not be right for you even though you do have a lumbar herniated disc. Now, if you have just been diagnosed with a lumbar herniated disc, please subscribe to my channel. I make a lot of great content for those folks out there suffering with these problems. Okay, I have a range of exercises, activities, stretches, decompression, work that I prescribe to my clients and for you guys to get some benefit as well to get you back on the road to recovery. Now, one of the more popular methods for low back disc herniation, disc bulge recovery is the McKenzie method. Now, Robert McKenzie was a very famous New Zealand physiotherapist. His work has been studied across many different countries by many researchers, and it's been applied by many physiotherapists, including myself, okay, throughout many years. And it is typically very useful, very successful for people who are suffering with a lumbar herniated disc. However, you may be prescribed it by your physiotherapist, by your osteopath, by your chiropractor. You may try it and you may find it actually worsens your pain, okay? Why is this? It's one of the main protocols. Why does it hurt me, okay? Look, here's the simple thing. It's like different horses for different courses, okay? And I like to say myself, I can't help 100% of the people 100% of the time. There are certain modalities, certain things that just will not work with your body depending on the structural damage issues you have, okay? So, typically with a herniated disc, it is normally a posterior rear, okay, it goes backwards, disc herniation. So when I flex my spine forward, disc herniation goes back, okay? Theory with McKenzie work is where you go into this sort of prone cobra position. I'll just show you here. You may start on a very basic position, which is what I recommend, down in this position here. But you may see the cobra itself has been prescribed that you have to get really, high up into this position here. Now you may start, I've not exactly got great extension myself. I do suffer from flat back syndrome. So I myself have got I have no lordosis and no kyphosis in my spine. I've got a very flat spine. And you see people say, oh yeah, you got to do McKenzie push-ups like this, oh, okay, like really push hard, okay? If you're in the early stages of your disc herniation, but your herniation is potentially anterior, forward, which can happen. It's rare, but it can happen, okay? Doing that move will worsen it, will make things worse, yeah? If you have stenosis, now stenosis is a narrowing of the canal where your nerves run, the big bundle of like spinal nerves run, okay? If that's narrowed, when you do extension like this, you basically make that gap even smaller, you may increase your nerve pain or your back pain, okay? If you have some facet joint issues, now you may see in your MRI report, it may say facet joint arthrosis, it may say edema, inflammation at the facet joints. The facet joints are these little kind of, looks like, I'm sure you'll get a diagram will pop up in a second as well, but at the back of the vertebra you have these little kind of like nodules that stick out, but your bone, okay, and this is the facet joint. And if you've got inflammation here, maybe arthritis, when you go into extension and they get jammed together, which can happen, okay, with that move, especially if you go straight up into the push-up, then you will see an increase in pain. So for some people, the McKenzie method, even though it gets prescribed to you, may not be right for you. And this is why I often say to people, look, make sure you speak to your physiotherapist. If you have pain, if you have an issue, okay, ask them, hey, is this exercise right for me, okay? Because there can be times, depending on your, as I said, your situation, if you've got, as I said, stenosis, if you've got some facet joint issues, where it is going to exacerbate your problem. Now, some people do find relief even when they've got those issues, but what they have to do is put a pillow or a cushion under the waistline, all right? And I'm just going to step out a shot to grab one here. My assistant's not here today to throw it at me. So, back in shot. So you would use this here. Then we place this under the waistline, come down, and we go into this position. Now what this does here
it puts my spine, I can move back a little bit, it's a big pillow, into more of a neutral position. So I'm not extended, it's more neutral, okay? But it will give a little bit of decompression, okay, to that particular segment, to the lumbar spine itself, which can help draw the disc back in, because McKenzie itself, the move, when you go back into the position, the theory is that a lot of it is to do with the mechanical force of that movement. So the disc material has pushed out, okay? That mechanical force is helping to push the material back in, create almost like a vacuum, and to encourage the material to go closer, to go back in towards that region itself, okay? It also helps to promote extension in the spine, okay? So not flexion, which of course if you've got a posterior disc bulge, typically makes it worse if you go into flexion, right? So they're not exactly sure 100% how it works physiologically, but they have got theories as to why it does bring about relief. Now, one of the things they have found in the literature is that if it is a brand new herniation, it typically works better for people who have a brand new herniation. So somebody who's had an issue, herniated disc, for a couple of years, whatever, 3 years, they've still got ongoing issues, it's probably not going to work as well for them, okay? If it's a fresh herniation, typically works a lot better. It typically works a lot better in younger people as well. Why is this? Well, typically as you get older, the disc will change, the morphology changes. When you're younger, it's just this kind of like jelly donut filled sack with this liquid inside of it, right? It's like this little bulging, nice, soft, squishy thing. As you get older, you get collagenic changes. It becomes more tougher, brittle, and it doesn't have as much malleability, okay? So McKenzie work typically works better for people, from what I've read in research, inference is people who are less than 35, 40 years old, and if it is a fresh disc injury, all right? So sometimes the McKenzie positions may not be right for you. So it's just to be aware that if you do have some pain, you do have some issues, okay? To ask questions to your physiotherapist, your osteopathic chiropractor, to make sure they look into it, okay? And maybe give you some other exercise. I myself, I do recommend it for many, many people, but I get my feedback, and if it doesn't work for them, I will change it and use some other exercise, all right? So guys, listen, I hope that's cleared things up a little bit on the McKenzie move, if you're out there suffering with your lumbar herniated disc, bulging disc. But listen, you got any questions, comments, you want to reach out to me for a free advice call, hit me up in the comment section, or you can go to my main YouTube page. You can book a call with me there. I will talk to you for 45, 50 minutes, an hour, and give you some free advice for things to try to get you back onto that pain-free journey, okay? Guys, of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.